Hey there, welcome back to another Sajita video, or whatever you'd like to call it. Yeah, today we are going to go over how to make the torso and break it down in two levels. So two videos, this is the first one and the next one should be available on the next week, that's the word. You can find the link for this reference in the description, the link to the ArtStation, and put it on your Pura file. And I would suggest that you zoom in, let me try, until you have the head and the torso in the picture. If you have a second monitor, put it on your second monitor and make it as big as possible. If you don't, just make it big enough that it helps you rather than taking too much space from your screen. So let me turn on the screencast keys. Where is it? It's here. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to go with Control Tab, in object mode, select all and delete everything. With Control and Spacebar, I'm just going to zoom in into my workspace and I'm going to add a sphere. Before we start though, I'm also going to change the focal length to about 100. Anything from 80 to 120 works. Better to stick, I guess, on the middle to high side rather than just 80, but you get most of the effects within that range. Starting at 80. Let me just take a sip of coffee. Now to get the best result for the torso, I'm going to start with a simple head that we will use to make the proportions or get the proportions for the torso. So we'll start by making a simple head. With the sphere, I'm just going to flatten the edges to, let's say, about here. I usually use these lines here as guides. So about here, maybe a bit, looks fine. Let's go from the side and pull the chin. Usually try to come from down rather than just the front. Flatten this upper part a bit. This will be our forehead. The forehead is very flat at this area here. And then as it comes back, it rounds, and this should be the highest place, highest spot on the head. Let's widen the chin. Sorry. Flatten this front part. Pull this up. And then we can pull the neck. The neck is, how should I say, curving like this. So we'll smooth this, tug this in, and try to get that curve even though we are in quite a low detail. But always try to just do the best with the current level of detail that you have. Widen the neck, now we can pull the jawline. Maybe it is a bit too low, but I don't think it's bad. Again, I'm going to try to get that curve. Maybe pull this down a bit. And I probably Probably do need a thicker neck. But it doesn't look bad for now. Smooth this down a bit. Okay. I'm also just going to rotate it on the x-axis a bit, just so it mimics the same positions. Okay, not too bad, but this is just for better proportions or a better guide for the torso. Now let's go for the main thing, I don't know what to call it. And I'm going to change the dimensions in edit mode so I don't have to apply the scale and things like that. So we want the torso, or this first stage of the torso, to be as tall as the head. Actually, I'm not gonna increase it in all axes. So it's about a head big. Now, the torso can go anywhere from 2 heads big to 3 heads big. And if I'm gonna use my hand to see here, I would say that about 2 heads work. But you can always change these. Let's go for just a bit more then. So 2, let's go 2.2. You can always change these, but it is helpful to get a good base at the start. I don't know if I have to sweep. Oh my god. I don't know if I have to sneeze right now, but I think I don't. Let's go from this view. Now, in the reference, there's also this pose, but I don't find it super helpful. I think if you want to get more detail, you can also use this, but these are going to be my main references. So let's turn on the symmetry. See, the neck looks fine for now, but let's just make it a bit wider here. It should be straight from the front. Okay, it looks fine. Now the length from around this shoulder, can I draw here? I think I can. From here to here-ish, or rather from here to here, so this distance is usually about 1 head wide on both sides. So we are going to try to get that. Now you can just take the head, copy it to the side and see that, but to get a quicker method, we're going to go, while selecting the torso, increase or decrease your brush until it is as wide as your head. Just a general shape. So about here, and the shoulder ending part should be around here. So pull one of the vertices, so around here, and just widen it. Maybe it would be better if we do it from the back, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, maybe it's a bit too wide. But most of the proportions are just general guides. As you practice more, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to getting them right just by eye. As you go to different stages and get other parts, you will get most of the proportions correct. I'm gonna drink a lot of water and coffee, so sorry for that. But I like to be hydrated. Even though I don't know if coffee is hydrated. Doesn't matter. Now we are going to pull the traps. So start from pulling this neck area, close to the neck area, up to, let's say, just below the chin. Something like this, and then smooth this so it's not very sharp. We are going to heavily change this area, but in the lower polygons, we're just going to make the most of what we have. Now, since we started with the back, let's go with the back. Now, most of it here is flat, this top part, and then from here, so up until here, this is where the traps would end. So just a bit below the traps, we can make like an S curve or a curve, and then the general shape of the back should be like an S curve. Since he is standing more straight, the curve is way less noticeable, I guess, but it should be there most of the time. But yeah, his top back is quite flat. It goes like this, and then his pelvis thing, I don't know the name, comes about here. Now we can also pull this front part up. And now without the legs, it might look a bit weird here. But when you do start making legs, or if you decide to add legs, you can see that it also helps to get this to look better. Also for the arms, if you decide to do them, will help you get the shoulders better, the back better. So I would say that doing just a single body part is very good practice, but do not neglect doing the whole body, as that helps you understand each part individually as well. Okay, I'm yapping too much. Let's pull this in. So the lats, the back muscles here that make the width, will go up until here-ish, and then most of this will be, what is it called? It's not the lower back, but something. Call it the lower back. You can wind this a bit. Should probably pull the shoulders now, but let's make the midsection. So we're gonna pull this up with a big brush. Now this part is gonna go out, in. Okay. This part is also gonna go out and then down. Now the part of the chest, the nipples, yeah, should be one head from the clavicle. So again, with the brush method, this is how tall, or how lengthy our head is. So don't go over the torso, but about here, the nipples should be about here. Let's say one head here maybe. So this should be the lowest part of our chest. Now at the lowest part of our chest, slightly below would be the part of the rib cage that kind of sticks out, this part here. Okay, I'm not gonna draw, I think you can notice that. This part here. So this sticks a bit further than where the nose would be, or just above the nose. So imagine the nose here-ish and pull this out. Also pull the midsection out, as this should be pretty flat. And go in, and then where the belly would be, about something like this. Let's pull this forward. Okay. Okay, doesn't look too bad. Now for the chest, it's definitely gonna look weird, as the chest, I think at least personally, is probably the most, chest and shoulders is probably the most complicated part for me. And it's mostly due to the connection here, you'll probably see it. But pull out the shoulders here. I know it looks weird now, but having the general shape now is quite helpful. Tuck this in. And we should add some volume. So pull this for the rear delts. Pull this out for the front delts. And let's also pull the upper chest a bit, just to give it some more volume. But do take your time at each stage. I kind of want to pull this up, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make this all around like this. And I think the chest can go a bit lower. So with a big brush, let's come to about here. Just pull down. Okay. Let's pull this out a bit inner here. You can pull out the lats a bit more out. Just wind this, tuck this in. Pull this shoulder part down. And we are not on a bad place. Let's wind these end part of the traps a bit. And the traps should end about here. They should come on top here and then just connect on the back. I think this is a good point to go on the next level. Let's just fix some issues here. Pull this up. Come more in here. And I kind of like to do this on the later stages, but let's just try it here. No, we'll do that later, where we kind of tuck it in here. Let's pull this a bit higher, this a bit more low. And yeah, the chest definitely lacks a lot of definition right now. Make the clavicle quite flat. And let's see if we can pull some of the chest now. Just pull it forward. Let's tuck this ribcage area a bit more in. Okay. Let's pull the chest just a bit lower. And the ribcage area a bit more forward. Shoulders a bit more down and out. I think this is a good spot. Let me see if clarifying some things, clarifying? I don't know. So this would be the top of the ribcage. I'm just gonna draw one side. It should go like this. And I think it goes actually up to here. And then you'll have the same thing on the other side. And then the pelvis would, I have no idea how to draw a pelvis, but something like that. The back here, the humerus. Okay, maybe it goes a bit below, but around here the chest will connect and then come just across like this. And then the shoulders will sit on top. Clavicle should come to about here. And yeah, I think that should get an idea. Let me clear this and we can go on the next stage. Let's just decrease a bit of the width here. So make it more flat. Pull it in. Flat from the back. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's see. I'm gonna go with R to about, let's try 500. I would say that if you haven't really experimented with your remesh sizes based on your device, you should just slowly tone down the detail. Well, I guess tone up the detail, but tone down the voxel size. One sip of water and one sip of coffee. We are good to go. Now on each stage, when we decrease the voxel size, I like to just smooth a bit. Well, smooth most of the sculpt, but not too harsh on the smoothing, and define shapes here and there. So try to keep most of the shapes. I'm going to widen this so it's as wide as the neck. And from the front you should be able to kind of see this like slope, if I can call it that. Tuck this in. And around here it should just end. See. Tuck it more in. Just smooth. Let's smooth the clavicle, but pull it down around here first. Smooth the chest out, shoulders, this as well. Just make sure the sort of bad artifacts are gone. We just have not smooth planes, but smoother planes. So I think this is not a bad start. We're gonna start with the back though. So the traps, we don't have to dig here, but as they come to here, then we can dig not straight down or straight, but I guess horizontally straight, but a bit on the diagonal, I don't know. Something like this. And also make this line that goes from the top till the lower back here. Maybe the crease polish would be better down here, but draw sharp works pretty well as well. Yeah. We're gonna dig around here, smooth out. Now for this area, we're going to dig in first. So just down like this. We're gonna define the middle traps, smooth out. Now I kind of want to dig in with a crease polish. Probably not this sharp. Probably a bit smaller. Something like this. But now the upper traps should come on top of the middle ones. So something like this. Now to get this, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I don't have it. The scapulae, the things that sit around here. We're going to define it's not exactly the bone, but where the muscle would kind of sit. So go straight, sharpen like this, and then sharpen up like this. Yeah, something like that. Dig under here just a bit, not too much. And then from below, just pull this area out. Okay, smooth it out, smooth this out. And now here, we're also going to define the rear delt. So make this quite straight. And then add some mass to it. Let's see, we're going to pull this more up. Now around here there should be like a triangle-like shape, but it shouldn't be super visible. But something like that, quite flat. And then here it's like a, I want to say like a deformed ellipse. I usually go with like an ellipse, which is I guess smaller on this side. I don't know if that's another shape. And then I just smooth quite a lot. Something like that. Now we are going to make the erectors, which come to about here to around here. The lats end to here, and then the erectors sit on top of them at the end. I don't know how to describe it. But basically the lats connect under this piece. And then this is the lower back area, which isn't muscle, but it might behave like muscle. And as you can see it, I think you can notice it, like this area on both sides. Okay, OBS crashed, but fortunately most of the file was saved. But this part is fascia, not muscle. But again, I think it behaves similarly, but there's some difference. It doesn't matter here. But to give it a more authentic look or more likeness, with the clay strips brush, we're gonna dig along that side lightly and then smooth it by tapping. Okay, if we had more quality, you've been better, but we're basically trying to get that Christmas tree looking thing. Something like this. But yeah, we are in a decent spot for the back. Let's define the erectors just a bit more. I don't think this part goes this down though. So let's pull it up. Connect it here, smooth out. Okay. Let's see from the front. Pull this out. flatten it a bit, smooth, and I kind of want to say let's work on the chest first. Though I want to work on the torso. Let's do the chest first. First, I'm just gonna pull this down a bit. Pull this out so it's rounder. But this part should still be the lowest point. Okay, we can separate the chest. So with crease polish, just because it has to be very tight, we are going to go up till here. And now here, the clavicle can go like a U shape or just a very sharp down. From the top, I think I've said this on another video or a short, the clavicle kind of behaves, or looks rather, like a crossbow. So it goes like this and then it tucks in here-ish. And most of the part here is very not visible, but here it is quite sharp. Let's pull this up a bit and a bit back. Now with the crease polish brush again, I'm just gonna go under the chest to give it that more rounded look. So from about here to here. Okay. Pull it up. And this part of like contact or connection, I'm just gonna pull it in a bit. Smooth this side. Now for the front delt, which should come to about here, so grab here and pull forward or out, I guess, and just around this here and goes back. Let's add some more mass to the side delt. Just pull for now. Now here we can make it dip down a bit, then go out, as you can see here, on another plane, and then go in again. Something like that. Let's pull it back, pull this to the front, and give some more width to the side delt. Okay. Let's puff this area up though, smooth out, and now we are going to, how should we do this? Let's define this, what's the word? Missing thing here. Let me take a sip. No, I don't have it. But basically there is a empty-ish space here. And from there the front delt will come. So let's just give it more defined shape. So here it can go very straight, and then here a bit rounder, smooth out. Make it sharper around here, pull out, and let's follow the round shape. Make this come more out. This should sit like this, and then the rear delt goes in here. Let's pull this more in. Puff this up a bit, tuck it in, smooth out. Pull this a bit more in, a bit more out here. Okay, let's pull this in. Let's pull this area more in. Tuck this here. Okay, that's not too bad. I don't super like it. Let's pull this a bit more down. So here-ish, this rounder, and then this area will pull more down as well, but also out. Round this up, smooth. Okay. It's not too bad. Now this part should be a bit thicker, not that small of a connection line. And let me go with the inflate brush and just inflate this bottom. Also here. See from the side. Hold this up, and then as it goes up, you can just go flat here. Okay, it's not that good, but we're not sitting in a bad place. Now let's move on to the midsection. I'm going to pull this just a bit more down. Not much though. And I'm going to try to define where the ribcage area would be. So like this. And then I'm going to lightly dig in here. Most of this shouldn't be visible rather, but I just want to get the structure so I can work on the abs and things like that. So go light here, but you should see it just for better guidance. It's a bit more flat. We'll off it up. Then it goes in. Make it a bit more out here. It goes in here. Pull this area up. Also this. Okay. Let's work on these love handles, I guess. So from here I'm gonna pull or sharpen, and then I'm gonna dig. So this part should be quite narrow, and this part is more wider as it comes back here. Now it shouldn't be that big. Its general shape should be like a box. Now I'm gonna do that one thing I said to do earlier, which is just tuck it in here. Let's go with a crease polish brush. Something like this here. Even though the love handle thing comes like down here, I think it gets that effect. Just pull it more forward, more in. Now let's define the abs. See if it looks good. I think it looks fine. Now I think we should dirt all the abs first. So let's say about here the first one, and then here the second one. Now the belly button should be a very good guide actually. Again, the head is probably your best guide here. That was a lot of guides. So brush head size. From the nipples, go one head, and at the end of this should be where the belly button should be area. So around here-ish. I'm gonna go a bit more up, so here maybe. Around here maybe. And I'm going to dig into the side here. Okay. And define the belly area like this. Now this whole thing is kinda connected, but I guess this part probably accumulates the most fat. So it should be something like this. Smooth out. Widen this a bit, pull it back. And now we can define the abs more with the crease polish brush. Just follow those shapes. And give a smooth, but try to keep a nice, I don't know what to call it, Abbey look. Now we're also going to make this part here. It should also follow the same look, but here it should be quite flat. Pull this in. Now let's make the obliques. I kind of like to follow the, what should I say, look, maybe just a thing, but each oblique should connect from within the rib cage-ish, and then go like this. You kind of notice it here. I don't know how to fully explain it, but it's digging to a point at the edge of an ab where there's a space, and it'll sit kinda on the top of the, I keep forgetting, rib cage. If you can't see it though, you can just make it on top of the ab, and then here like this. I would say at most make 5, but there's probably only like 4. So 3, 4, at least generally. And I guess this could count as a 5th one. Smooth out, and then make the other part of the obliques. I don't know what the name is. And give it a zigzaggy shape where they connect. Now most of this won't be visible, but depending on your character they could. Let's put the lats out a bit from the side and just smooth them along their shape. Okay, pull this forward, this in. Let's pull this quite up. Let's see. The side, I'll also pull it up. And yeah, it should have a very box-like shape. Rectangular from the side. And also as it goes in, it should sort of just transition into whatever this would be, the pelvis, the something name. Okay, I think that's good. Let's give it a slight smooth, just along like this, because there is skin sitting on top of it. And I think that's not too bad for the first level of detail. Let's see the back. Let's see here actually. You can pull this a bit downer, lower, I guess. Smooth this out. This a bit more down. This a bit more in. Pull this out a bit. This in a bit. Okay, let's see. Pull this in a bit. I don't really like the chest. Let's see the traps first. Make this higher and then more in. Pull the rear delt below and then the front delt higher. Let's see, we could add more size to the chest, but let's try to make some planes. And then on the next level of detail we can smooth them out and smooth them out. So we'll go like this. And it sort of just goes in here. But yeah, I'm really bad at chest. But sometimes I get it right. I think we can pull it more forward, let's see. This in. Also pull this area out. Maybe a bit more in like this. Like this up and down. But yeah, I think from the side it doesn't look bad, it's just the front. Let's take this in and pull this up. Sharpen this here. Let's also pull this down like this. It's not too bad. So that was it for part 1. On the next part, we are gonna go on the next level of detail, smooth things out, redefine some shapes, try to get this chest look better, and complete our torso. So thank you for watching, and see you next week. Bye.